Factor with me, Jay Randy. It's Friday. I would like to say thank you so much. Good morning to wherever you are, and good evening to wherever you are. This is Jay Randy here, and welcome to the Focus Factor. Focus Factor is a program that looks at the current situation in Liberia, and we like kind of discuss the situation based on what we see happening in the country. As you know, our country is 174 years old, and there are a lot of heavy lifting we have to do, or we must do, in order to compete with other developing countries and with the world. As a poor country, we are given a lot of resources, and some of the resources are being misused, and people are running out. Yes, nations that continue to help us. They want us to be able to show some level of responsibility. Let me just do all the music here, and let me apologize to you guys for the music. But thank you so much for taking all your time to join me here. I think I might be broadcasting on YouTube today for the very first time, but we shall see. But in the meantime, let me just take my phone here and begin to distribute to my listening audience out there. So again, this is J Randy here, and thank you so much for taking out your time to watch me here. So please share the video, right? And welcome to the program Focus Factor. All right, so let me see what I need to do here first. I need to get here and start to share this video here. So let me see where I am first here. All right. So let me go here. This, let's see, am I here? Yes, I am right here. I see myself here. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity. I see myself here. So I'm going to increase the volume a little bit to hear myself here. All right. Yes, I'm right here. I see myself. All right, here. So I can hear myself here, and thank you guys so much. So please do me a favor, share the video yourself. Please share the video here. Yeah, share the video here. I think we are broadcasting on YouTube now because the YouTube channel has been set up. Except that I've been very slow in using it, but I think I'm okay now. So freedom, free voice radio. Yes, you can look me up. I think it's on Free Voice Radio on Freedom. So thank you so much for taking that time of yours to come and join me here. All right. So we got a lot of interesting things to discuss here tonight. But let me just try to send out the invite to many of my friends out there. Thank you. And again, I consider the program to be something like a classroom where we all come and sit and discuss things happening in the country, not from a direct political, but from a applied political standpoint. So that way we can get to know what we're missing in the country, and what we're missing in the country. It's not all day politics. So I usually come on this time of the day because the dust has settled now. All of you guys have watched the show of your choice, even though it's not measuring up to anything since the year started. I don't think anything have been done successfully that you can point your finger to and say, yes, what I have been watching from the beginning of the year, here is the success that I am proud of, except for the entertainment and the gossip that you enjoy. Other than that, everything remain unchanged in the country, to be honest with you guys. So I would try to take another approach to really look at some of the reality on the ground, and that would be something that I would encourage you. So share the video out there, guys. Yeah, please share the video out there, and let's get a discussion. So tonight, and sorry if I'm not trying to be rude to you. I'm just trying to look down here to send out the invite to many people. But I think tonight we are going to be looking at one day a controversial ANC post that was up and then taken down. I'm going to give you some detail of what I have gathered, and I'll like you to be part of that as well. And then also I will be looking at the dirty city of Morovia, how dirty the city is, and we'll be talking about that as well. And there are other things that I would also like to bring to you guys as well. And then we will also look, lastly, I think we're going to look at, let me see why it's not coming to my mind right now, but I think, yeah, I think that's all. But I have a very interesting video that I want to share with you guys. A very sorrowful video, very sorrowful video I'm going to share with you guys here tonight. So if you know what I know, try to get your handkerchief and try to put it, because these are things that people don't pay attention to in the country. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so hesitant to visit Liberia, because the fundamental challenges in our country we have, I don't know, because people in America who live here who are Liberian, they don't have the empathy for what happening in the country. So they don't tend to throw light on these things. But some of these things will hit home. When you get to see them, it will hit home. So I thought it wise to, it's a 13-minute video, and I'm going to share that video with you guys here. But the reality question will come when the video start to roll, right? So let me do the last distribution here, and then from there we'll start the show. All right. So again, I'm only here for 1 hour as usual, 1 hour, and then we'll call it a day. Yes, because I mean, the show is filled with a lot of concrete information, so there's no need to come and entertain people here. Again, this is what I describe as a classroom discussion, a discussion where we come to look at the reality on the ground, the reality among us as Liberian, and we measure what we are up to versus where our country is heading. What sort of drivers do we have in our country? Do we have drivers in terms of leaders that are politically motivated and not innovative motivated? I mean, that's something that we need to discuss, because our generation going to age out. Just how our parent age out, the country did not you any tangible benefits. Some of us, and every one of us, our generation will age out, and we're going to be leaving that to the next generation. But what we're going to be doing now, or what are we doing now that will benefit our generation? You be my guest. I don't know. But in each and every one of us individual agenda, we are making great strides. We are making great success to achieve things. So to all my good friends and brother out there who I know by name because they are always there all the time, let me say hi to Henry Yango. Let me say hi to Erabi Gayu. Let me say hi to Arizona. Let me say hi to Sekou Kane. These are folks that I know that are always on my show. All right, because we are not here to just open. Hold on here, I'm missing something here. Yes, I hope this will keep up. I don't have my charger here with me, and I don't intend leaving from here now. So, ladies and gentlemen, not to waste your time, I am about to show you a very sad video. We are going to discuss the video. This is the reality that is on the ground. It is not just a government reality. It is those who run the different talk show. What are their conscience? What are their purpose on Facebook? What do they hope to achieve? What do they want out of what they do on Facebook? For me, I had done it all. And I will always repeat my history to everyone, even if you heard it before. I was one time a political activist, a political advocate for the CDC government. I ran the best campaign. I can stand on any mountaintop. I can stand below the depth of any ocean or river and be proud to say, yes, there were two elections that George Weah ran and he lost. And in the third one in 2017, I campaigned for him for the first time. And based on the campaign strategy that we put in place at the verge of Facebook Live, we managed to make Weah president. The expectation is not what the reality is today. So I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson that if I have to ever campaign for any political leader, as they call them in Liberia, I want to understand the details, the devil in the details, so that I can be able to inform the Liberian people what they will be walking into and what are the decisions, what are the indicators they need to look at. And because of that, I promised myself that if Mr. Weir doesn't do the right thing, I will come back here and criticize Mr. Weir. And I did it on several occasions. And from time to time, Mr. Weir keep oscillating. You know, when you're in the hospital, you see that monitoring device, beep, 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 beep. In engineering, we call that oscillating. When something is oscillating, it's going up and down. They're down, they're high. The lows, they're high. And for every time he hit high points, I used to praise him. Whenever he hit the low point, I used to praise him. But it seems to be that in Liberia, there is not a dynamic criticism in our country and culture. It should always be a constant praises. Yes, there is nothing like the positive side and the negative side in Liberia. They always got to be positive. So the lesson learned is I learned the lesson that, I mean, if you support any party, you don't criticize the party. What are the things they're doing is wrong, or the things they are doing is are wrong. They don't want you to criticize. So what I had done now, I decided to come on Facebook and focus on things that every side is doing. What do I make out of it, and what can we do to share it? And based on that, my audience will not be to the expectation, because Liberians don't like people to tell them the truth. Yes, and this reality will come to pass the day Jesus Christ come down, come down to judge the face of the planet here. That when you will get to know that we Liberians we profess to be Christian, but we are not in reality and in practice, because we hate to hear the truth. And this is a fundamental practice that we have adapted, we continue to utilize, that we hate to hear the truth. We just like to praise things. From the child that is unborn, still in the man's stomach, from the 5-year-old who trying to take his or her first or second step, as long as they are Liberian, born in Liberia, some of them born in the United States here, they want to put that same behavior into the children, not to accept the truth or hear or learn the truth. And that's one reason why when you equate the 174 years in our country, we go in nowhere. We are a country that don't have no common value. Common value, where do we all agree despite our political differences? But what brings us together? Is it when somebody commit crime? Is it when somebody is engaged in some form of corruption, no matter how close they are to us? We don't have no common value. But this video you're about to watch is going to put some context or something into context as to what kind of country we are. But I want you to walk into the video knowing that we are 174 years. Look at your age today. Things that you used to do when you were 10 years old are not the thing you're doing today at age 20, 25, 30, or even 50. Why sort of change in your life? Because you are grown. You are seeing things in the past, and you are on a path of growth improvement. Things that you feel upon last year, you are not going to fail on it this year. Things that you could not complete this year, hopefully by God's grace, you hope to finish it next year. That is your continual personal life expectancy growth improvement. That's what you're working on. Now take that idea, remove yourself from that subject line, and put the entire country called Liberia. What you're about to see is very disturbing, worrisome, but it just goes to show that we as a country, how old we are on the continent of Africa. We brag about our age. We brag about us being the first independent country. We brag about having strong relationship with the United States. But some of the things that we do, it shows to anybody that we are still behind. So without further introduction, I'm going to put the video up here now for you to see. It's a 13-minute video, but it's a very sad video. Think about your aunt. Think about anyone in your family. So the video is up for you guys to watch now. All right. Oh boy. Are you ready? Let's go. I got it. So before the guy who did the video recording, before he started to provide his narrative, I want to say this to many Liberians. Many of you guys in this country, including myself, I'm not exempt, because when I was pursuing my college degree, I work in the nursing home here. I mean, not nursing home. I work in the group home. I managed to take care of people who have mental problems. All right. Yes. And I managed to have the empathy for people who cannot manage their own daily activities. When I was in Liberia, I had the same mindset. I mean, I had different mindset of things that I used to see. See people with mental retardation, And there are times that I never ever had a feeling for them. But when I came to this country and found myself in the human service field for the time being while I was pursuing my degree, I got to realize that every human being on the face of the planet is here for a purpose. And this country made me to understand that there are programs that give consideration to kids, to adults, to older population of people, and they must be given care. There are many Liberians here in the very high number, not in professional field like some of us, but in the human services area that provide daily services, ONS services to many Americans, even Africans who find themselves in homes where they are monitored daily so that they cannot become a victim to the real world out there. When I watched the video today, what drew my attention? People who live in this country, Liberia, the comment they were making of that lady on the street who had a mental problem. I just give up. I just give up. But I said to myself, it is not the end of our generation in our country. It is just sad that the war, while it is true, is over. It increased our illiteracy rate. No matter where we are, whether you're in the United States, whether you work here, but there is something in our comprehension, our common understanding as Liberian, that no matter what we learn in other people's country, when we see this very thing happening in our own country, we never tend to correlate that same mindset to say, this is wrong. I saw people making comment. Oh, the woman need attention. She's looking for attention. Liberia is a very interesting country. This is what social media is doing to Liberians across the world. Our social media people who run their platforms, they are further destroying the mind of Liberians across the world. They don't teach them to recognize things that other countries will recognize. This video, it spoke volume. It spoke volume. I watched the video and I was very key in reading some of the comments of Liberians, not to mention the worst of all, those who were on the ground. Like I mentioned earlier, many of us back home, we never knew the significance, we never knew the importance of human rights. But when we came to this country, few of us managed to have that sympathy now and empathy for human being, even animal. But listen to some of the voices in the background, listen to some of the action that you're going to see in a 13-minute video. And that's going to tell you that our country is fucked up. They're fucked up. Don't see people wearing the next clothes like this. They wear all the next clothes. The mental state of mind is what determines who you are. It is not the clothes you wear. It's just the basic reason why you wear the clothes, because you don't want to be naked out there. It's not the clothes that make the man. It's not the dressing that make the woman. It is the mental state and how you articulate issue, how you address issue. So let's watch the video again, folks. See how Liberians treating their fellow Liberians.
Good afternoon, Online 2. This is in Congo Town, where a mad woman has been allegedly throwing stones at their vehicles, and she has moved to the center of the main road.
Let me say hi there to my brother Ben. I just see here, Ben Fra. Let me say hi to you there, Ben. I missed your call today. And let me say hi to Armstrong Japa there. Thank you guys for taking all your time. I hope for the 1 hour and few minutes, you guys will stick around so that we can have a little bit of interaction here, all right? So guys, those are permanent friends of mine that we all started the Facebook thing. Even before Facebook Live, we were friends. So I just want to recognize them. But again, sorry for the interruption. Let's watch the video here, guys.
Right around the modern furniture in Congo Town, creating a very serious problem here for those in the traffic, and drivers are like dodging her. She has earlier been throwing stones. She's earlier been throwing stones, and she was caught by peaceful residents and tied up but she was released. She was freed. She became untied due to several appeal, so that something negative couldn't happen.
So as you can see, the interaction from the public in Liberia. You see what social media does, folks. What social media does, a conduct what I would describe as a real-time audit. What the gentleman is doing, why it is true that he's reporting this event, many of us are looking at the events not just from what the camera is showing, but it go beyond that. It is showing the lack of human kindness among us as Liberians, the lack of human kindness. People just kind of just driving by, moving by, nobody in a car. Like, for example, in the United States here where I live, and I will always use the United States as an example because the reason I'm using the United States as an example, and I will continue to use it because they educated me. They make me to be who I am, and I cannot take them out of anything that I say because they are the best country. If you live here and you get your paycheck every week or every 2 weeks, and you want to deny the fact that there are some country you go that you will not get your paycheck, but in the US you will do it, and you don't want to use that example, shame on you. For example, if that was in the United States here, there are some people who are nurse practitioners, some people who are advocates. They will start that car, get out, and together they will rescue that lady before even law enforcement shows up. Because that lady is at the highest risk of being hit by a car or rolled over by a car. But Liberians just took that thing right now as some type of movies. So where's the conscience? The conscience to have feeling for each other is not in the country. Now, what do you think is the cause? Do you think because many of the post-war children today who are generation in the country, they see those things and their subconscious just kick out and say, oh, it's war. And, you know, it looked at war. It looked at war. It looked at something. These are the fundamental societal issues that we lack of in this country, in our country called Liberia. You can have all the political leaders in that country from 1847 to 2030. If we don't focus on the left essential things that will give you the appetite to love to do something, we will not be a very better country anytime soon. Yes, because these things are not being taught. The love for each other. So let's watch the video again, folks. Let's watch the video here.
Happened to her, but as it stands, as soon as she was released, she went in the middle of the road, and she's lying in the middle of the road while drivers are all dodging her. So as you see her right here, she's here. This is a mad woman who have been throwing stones, and she's been noted for this. So it's actually happening just right at the Congo Town area, just around the former president's resident, Charles Taylor. Drivers are like dodging her. You can see the community members have to, you can see how far this guy is traveling just to dodge her. She's in the middle of the road. She's in the middle of the road. This is School Online 2. My name is William Howard from Congo Town. This is breaking. Matter of fact, a few minutes ago, she was involved with throwing stones at various vehicles that were passing. You know, this road is a pliable road where thousands of vehicles ply on a daily basis. So she's in the middle of the road, and you see.
So here's the thing here, guys. So as you see that woman in the street over there, don't you think that woman can be a relative of yours? Don't you think it's somebody's mom? Now, when you take a look here, you see how mad we have gone. There's no such in our privacy. If you look at the left side of the screen, you see the gentleman right here in the yellow here. The first thing that he tries to do is to get his phone and just take the woman picture rather than rescuing the woman. Yeah. He found pleasure in videotaping the woman rather than trying to protect her from being hit from a car. Now, we profess to have psychologists, we profess to have psychiatrists, Liberians, But these things don't become a problem to them. I mean, for them, and not a problem. It don't become a concern for them because you know why? It is not their relative. It is not their loved one, and most especially they don't live in our country. The only thing that got many Liberians attached to Liberia is nothing else but politics. And the thing beyond the politics is for them to get a piece of job in our country. But as far as the challenges within our social environment, as far as the hardship within our social environment, it's nothing they care about. It's nothing they care about, folks. It's nothing they care about. And don't get me wrong, other countries have people with mental issues, but the way how they are quickly rescued from the community in the know of how to treat these people to the public servants to the pedestrian, these are things that the people are taught in different countries. But look at Liberia. People are just sitting down there and just watching and seeing what's going on, folks.
The cars are screening. Taxi drivers are screening to dodge her. And the police are just arrived to get her out of here. I don't know.
All right. Look at the gentleman. He found pleasure in going to the woman and taking the photo. Look at it. Police officer is arriving. Police officer is arriving on the back of a motorcyclist. Now, let me just pull you aside. Let me pull this aside and question you here. You see how our country is so backward, guys? All right? Look at the police officer. He's supposed to ensure public safety. He comes on the back of a motorcycle. He's not wearing no helmet. The motorcycle operator is not wearing no helmet. The guy in the middle is not wearing no helmet. And not to mention COVID, there is no mask. You see how pictures speak volumes? You see how people are not focused on the key things? And that is why the country is the way it is. Now, let's see the action, all right? Because the video will soon be wrapping up.
To just bring the situation under control. So you can see from here, I think the police was invited. They were invited by the management of the modern house furniture group right here at Congo Town. So she's a mad woman.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. Sorry. My bad. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Like I said, and I have myself on mute, so let me apologize. Let me apologize. And thank you for the messages out here. I said I can now bear to watch the video continuously, guys. I don't know about you guys. If you need a clip, I will send it to you. But I cannot bear to watch the video, and that one the reason why I always come out. It's among many of the reasons that I would say I don't think I will be able to visit Liberia anytime soon, because seeing what is happening to our fellow Liberians and the reaction from the public, from our fellow Liberians. Think about this. The last portion you just saw, it was the store owner. I don't think he is a Liberian, but I believe he called on the police because of where he's from. He may not be a real Liberian, but I believe he called because he felt that it was not the right thing to do. I mean, it was the right thing to do. But Liberians were over there getting their phone and videotaping. So I don't know, when people go to Liberia, when ministers and say, oh, the country is okay, when my fellow Liberian, when your friends then go to Liberia and come back and tell you, oh, the country is fine, the country is this. I mean, how do you measure what you think make the country to be what it is today when there are things that are left unattended, when there are things that are escalating in this country? I hope that the future of Liberia will be bright in the hands of the next generation. As you know, right now in this post-war Liberia, the crisis we face in Liberia is nothing else but leadership crisis. The government, the opposition, they come on platforms, they go on press conferences. There's nothing else they're discussing in the interest of the country as it relates to focusing on specific area. We don't know. Their leadership standard of work ethics from day to weeks to months to year, I don't know what it is. But what I will tell you here is there are 4 quarters in a year. And after every 3 quarters, there must be some type of report to show the progress. I don't see those things. I only see one minister coming up and telling stories upon stories without no evidence to defend what he's saying. But yet and still, Liberian will buy into the idea that what the person is saying verbally, it kind of equate to the success that that person is talking about. But when you look at the individual lives, when you look at the institution, when you look at the overall country and measure where they were in January 2021 and where they are right now in October 2021, you don't see any big difference. But yet and still, they continue to preach these things. And these are the reality on the ground in the country. These are the reality in the ground in the country. That's why it is. So let's see something here. All right. So let's come here now to something important here. All right. Let's come to something important here. So today I had the opportunity. In fact, yesterday, I'm going to put this picture up now. So yesterday I had the opportunity to speak to a very important person within the ANC party. We had a very good conversation, and I must say thank you to that individual for making such an opportunity for me to watch. And it's nobody else but this lady right here, as you can see here. So I spoke to Mona Fahar. She is one of the strong ANC member in the United States. She was part of the campaign in 2017. I ran my campaign against her, and we managed to make we are president. So what has happened recently in the CDC, I mean the CPP camp, I decided to pick up the phone and reach to her. And the reason I reached to her is because I wanted to understand what actually the CPP is all about. Why can't Cummings get out of the CPP? And as professional as she is, and that's one thing I respect few Liberians in America. We may have our political differences, but there are some Liberians here who are very professional. They will put their professional hat on if they know that something is in the interest of the country. And one of that person is Muna Farah. So I called Muna yesterday from my office, and I had a conversation with her. Some of the takeaway from the conversation are the things I would like to discuss with you here. The first question I asked Muna Farah is, how was she doing with the party? And she said everything is okay. And I said I wanted to understand from you, or I would like to understand from you, why Alexander Cummings cannot leave the CPP. And she made me to understand this. She said the agreement that the CPP signed, there is no one to be out of the program. You in it, and you in it for good. You cannot leave. And she also made me to understand that the agreement is now with the Election Commission. So the CPP is a one party, and they have registered that one party under the CPP as one party. If you are part of that agreement, you cannot break free away from that. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying here. You cannot break free from that. So I like, okay, so why did Alexander Cummings leave the meeting that everyone is making noise about here? I will attempt to answer the question. Explain the question as to what she told me. That Cummings went to a meeting, and I think there was some discrepancy that they wanted to correct. And Cummings said he was not in a capacity to make any changes, except for those who are part of that document. But they insisted that they wanted to carry on that conversation, and Cummings walked out of the meeting. And then on another issue that I asked her, I said the last time you were on live and someone sent me your video. The conversation you had on your show, you were reading off your phone some documentation. And can you share that documentation with me? Because I want to read some of the information that you provided and match that all what I have. And she managed to do that. And she sent me the document right here. Now, I'm not talking for ANC here. I'm not an ANC person. I'm just making you understand that when things happen, I want to get document in my hands to fully engage the conversation. Because as a Liberian, a true American, anything that is done with all paper, it was never done before. That's how I was trained in this country. I don't come on any platform and just come and say, oh, something happened away. No, 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 no. And because many Liberians are not accustomed to how I present my show, they don't find pleasure in doing those things. It's very difficult for them to accept. So I have in my possession here what she sent me. And I challenge anybody out there who will say, Randy, what you got is different. All I want is for me to be able to engage you. Because when I engage you, I will come back here to let my guys know who come to visit me when I'm on. Because I'm obligated to giving them an update to the information. So guys, if you even need this copy for your own reading entertainment, that's fine. So she sent me the framework, all right? Note from the review of the framework. She sent that to me. And then she also sent me the collaborating updated, document right here. And I believe I have my version here. Let me see where I got it. It should be somewhere here. I believe I have it somewhere here. I hope I can reach to it. All right. But I will just read an excerpt from what she gave me. Sometimes when you're looking for these things, you don't easily find them. But I think I have my copy here from the CPP as well. My original copy. And I think on a few occasions, I show this thing to you guys. So what I just want to also do, I cannot lay my hand on it right now. So let me see whether it's right here. I doubt it. It's not here. But I just want to read a few lines for you guys here to understand it, right? So here is the note from the CPP, especially the ANC. All right. So note from the review of the framework. I'm just going to read a few of it. All right. So it's the political leader. I hate to pronounce that word when I'm talking about something. this thing. So the background said the political leader authorized lawyer to conduct legal review in paragraph 3. All right, that the lawyers submit the amended copy and issue arising to comments and comments submitted to the CPP and to NEC. All right, so that the background. So coming order the lawyer, who are the legal people, to carry out the documents. They went through the review process and the document was submitted. That the lawyer sent the amendment to Cummings after the meeting, and Cummings sent it to NEC again, reminding them of the July 3rd deadline for party resolution. What were the observations? While there are content and structure change in the lawyer amendment, there are only structure change, not content change. So what they did was they only did structure change and remain the content. It's like you play soccer game, you take the member number 2, put the member number 3, but the rule remain the same, which is the content remain the same. All right, and the copy will file. All provision, including definition, headquarter, party membership, withdrawal clause, national executive committee, everything remain unchanged. But now, what I want you to understand is the findings, because when you make these kind of observation, the findings, here are the findings here. There were structure and content changes made by the lawyer in the amendment version. Now, the findings here is changes that were made legally, whether it was terminology, whether it was language. I think if you're out there and you want to be a responsible individual, when you read a document and you see where it says content and structure changes were made by a lawyer, you need to find out whether it was common lawyer or it is the CPP lawyer that made the changes. And those lawyers need to come out to explain things to you guys, because in any legal process, a regular Joe Blow cannot make any changes. A lawyer are making changes because of the language that is so legally attached. That is why they brought them in. So part of the findings say structure and content changes were made by lawyers. Question for you: were those changes made by lawyers? I mean, were they change the lawyers belong to Cummings or to the CPP? That's something you need to find out. All right. I'm just giving you all this information. I'm not a supporter of this the ANC. I'm just reading to you what was given to me here. All right. Two, finding, the second finding, there were no content provision changes. All right. There were no content provision changes. And now, what I want to find out here too is defining that the first portion I just read, all right, and that will be a follow up to what we have to do here again. So, the first finding I said that there were structure and content change made by lawyers in the amendment. I would like to find out whether the posts that were done by Asif Atokwa, and we'll be coming to that, whether this was referencing what he posted out there. All right. Now, there were no content and provision changes made in the document filed by the ANC, and the file copy that was the same. I mean, the file copy was the same content as the amended copy done by the lawyers. So most of the things that I'm understanding here were done by the lawyers. Yes, were done by the lawyers. And if there's any reason why things should go out of hand, I think it's incumbent upon the lawyers to come to explain these things to the Liberian people. Because according to what I'm reading to you guys, and if you need a copy, when lawyers make changes, it is something that legally above our normal way of doing things. They are lawyers, they understand what they're doing in there, the language, the tone, they know exactly what they're doing. So I don't think anyone who is not a lawyer should just be able to get her and say, oh, this thing is wrong, this thing is wrong. Well, unless that's Liberia, because in Liberia, everybody jack of all trade master or not. But even on CNN in America here, the guy will tell you, I'm not a medical doctor. The guy will tell you, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm limited to X, Y, Z. And this is the kind of standard that some of us are used to. So that's why we don't roll or anything. So that's why I'm telling you now, from what I'm reading to you here, if there were content and structure changes that were made or never made, they kept saying it was made by the lawyers. I think the lawyers then need to come out and gave a joint press conference to explain to the Liberian people what actually they change and why, so that people can understand rather than people who own different talk show just running with this thing. And that's one of the reasons why I don't watch all the talk show, because I feel that most of the talk shows guys from Liberia that run the show, they don't understand their function, they don't know their limit. They just discuss everything. And like they know the night, they know the day, they know everything. And when you find somebody like that on Facebook, trust me, I don't do that. Because remember, when you went to school, you have your math teacher, you have your science teacher. Those things are called subject matter experts. When you get people on Facebook who already know everything, when you get people on the radio who already know everything, that society is heading for a calamity. And that's what I want you to understand here. That's why I'm reading to you what I think you need to catch, and that's the findings. If the findings, or if the amendment were made by lawyers, I want a lawyer to come and explain their parts, so that we can get to understand why the decision were made. That's my recommendation. All right. Another finding here, finding that are not accurate. All right. So the second finding says if this is not accurate. Some of the findings were inconsistent with reports on observation, issues that are not consistent with observation in the report. All right. Key issue to be corrected. Bulletin 6 on the content that file copy talked about September 30th, November, but not in the amendment copy. Also repeated in Bulletin 11. This is false. Observation 12 clearly state the final consensus dialogue in the amendment copy includes September 30th. So there were a lot of discrepancy, and this thing have been clear. So I think independent money organization, independent Liberians, even though we don't have those kind of things in our country because you're either for the left or you're for the right. But I think we need to create a body of independent people who will begin to do case studies, take the Printware review note here, take the original document and begin to go through those things and come back with a findings and present it to the Liberian people to understand what is going on. So I would like to say a big thank you to Mona for giving me the opportunity here to read this document here. Again, if you need a document, I will pass it over to you. I'm not going to read it in detail because I feel that that's something that would take a very long time on Facebook here. So I just thought to just give you a snapshot or a screenshot of what I wanted you to know about. And that was particularly the findings and some of the discrepancy that were you say and I say. So we straighten that out. All right. So let me say a big thank you to Muna here for coming here and giving us that opportunity here. Stay with the ANC here. All right. Stay with the ANC here. I want to bring in this gentleman here, Asiba Atupa. Asiba Atupa is a very interesting individual. He's interesting because today politics that you found me in today, he is a significant contributor to me being on Facebook and having these pocket of discussion here. But of recently, Mr. Vatuba came out and fell short of something. All right. All right. He fell short of something very important. He posted something. The reason I'm using him directly here is, in fact, let me take a step back. So just 2 days ago, all right, according to Liberia time now, the ANC posted something out there, and there was a word that was missing or misspelled, where it labels ANC, ANC as the party that made some changes that people have been alleging here. So, as you know, many Librarians will rush to judgment. People started to send that thing to me in the back. Oh, Rennie, look at this. Rennie, look at that. So I said to myself, okay, I know one thing for a fact, that there are fake profile on Facebook. Yes, there are very fake profile on Facebook. And I said, is it possible that someone could be using the ANC logo and posting things to make it that it is coming from ANC? So I said, why it is true that the information makes sense, I'm only going to trust it, but I have to verify. So today I pick up the phone and call Mr. Asifa Atuba today. And I said to Chairman Atuba, I wanted to have a 2-minute or 3-minute conversation with you. And he agreed. And I asked him, I said, are you aware of the post from ANC that said something in the first and then something after? And he said, what are you talking about? Because sometimes he'll be very specific. I said, from what I'm hearing from outside there, the first post said that you guys made some changes. And then within few minutes, you took the post down and made a correction. And that correction, the correction is about not putting things. I mean, you guys did not change anything. He said, yes, I'm aware. In fact, he told me, yes, I wrote it and sent it to Cummings for Cummings to approve it. But both of us did not catch that particular comment. And it went on Facebook, and then I had to take it down. And I said, thank you. I said, thank you. But what I would like to do here is this. Are you going to acknowledge that publicly? Will you have a press conference? He didn't answer the question. So I came on this morning and I mentioned that. I mean, this afternoon, and I mentioned that on the show to those of you who are watching me. And I called on Chairman Vatukba to call a press conference, if possible, if it's in Liberia, or to take a time and take responsibility, acknowledge his error, and then take full responsibility and apologize for that. So I called him back today after my show. In fact, I text him and said, Chairman Va, I would love you to come on my show. I wanted to do it today, but he said he was traveling, and hopefully by Monday, he will join me here. So what I would be expecting of Mr. Va Tokwa when he comes on the show, I would like to see Chairman Tokwa taking full responsibility. I mean, acknowledging his error, because he already told me verbally that yes, he made that error. So I would like to see him on this platform reiterating that, like the people will say from the horse's mouth, that he made that error. So therefore, he owned that error. He acknowledged it, and he too should take full responsibility. And if he does that, what he will be showing is what I will call responsibility and accountability. When you make mistake, you should own your mistake, and you should be willing to correct your mistake and accept the wrong. So he guaranteed me that he will be here on Monday, and I'm going to keep my finger crossed so that you will have the opportunity to listen to him. Perhaps he may go a little bit detailed in what he knows. Again, I'm not here to campaign for the city. I'm not here to campaign for the ANC. Like I said, my new rule here now is to bring the facts. If you can answer my phone call, if I have your number, I will call you and ask you a question. And whatever you myself discuss, I will bring it here to you. So I have a text message here from Asif Atopa telling me that he will be here, hopefully by Monday, for him to explain about what happened. That's who I am, and that's what I want to do on Facebook now. I know the country is destroyed. Liberia is destroyed. This generation is destroyed. It's destroyed so bad that there's nothing we can do to help it. So, Chairman Vatopa, we look forward to seeing you. All right? We look forward to seeing you on Monday, hopefully by God's grace. Now, here's something I want to bring to your attention here. All right? The European Union, one of the representatives, made a very, very nasty comment. Yes. Made a very, very nasty comment. Yes. He made a very, very nasty comment. All right. And I think that comment worth noting. Let me see something here. And I think I have to get my part of say on that comment as well. Yes. I want to have my say on that comment. You see this guy here, they call Jefferson Koji. Jefferson Koji, let me just blow the thing up so you can see what I'm about to read to you here. I'm sure you guys can see it here. All right. Yes, I can read it from here, and I'm sure you guys can be able to read it too. Jefferson Koji, just what I have here, I'm going to read it for you guys here, right? So as you can see, this thing was written on December 23rd, 2020. It's going on to 1 year now. What did I write that day? I said, this city mayor job is too big for Jefferson Koji. Here is why, fellow Liberians. Mayor Koji do not have a solid waste management plan for the city of Monrovia to begin with. That was in December. That was in December of last year. And you can see it for yourself now. And in the little red thing down here, I said Jefferson seek professional help to develop a solid waste management plan for these various waste. Because these are the different classes of waste here. Did Jefferson Koji listen? No. Now, let me show you a video of why the European Union, the guy got mad with Liberia and made that comment. Liberians don't understand something called taxpayer money. We don't understand something. Liberians do not understand when they say taxpayer money. Most especially the one back home. The one that are here, some of them understand it, but they try to play deaf ear. So let's play the little video here. And after the video, I want you to ask yourself, where are these people? So ready for the video? Let's roll the video.
To not see waste as just something that's profitable. It has its own benefits. There is a little bit of money in it, not much because of how it is now. But I can tell people that in the future, many people will want to come into the waste sector because it will be profitable. If you can get government to say that you must subscribe for your waste, you must pay this for your waste, people will begin to pay. I see it as a future thing that tomorrow I can do for the younger people behind my children and even children now, so that maybe they should, get the access to come to be a part of the whole system.
All right. So you just saw a little clip of that video, right? You saw a little clip of that video. That video, it was a sponsor project by the European Union to Liberia. They worked with the alien administration and managed to establish different civil societal groups in the form of subcontractor to help clean the city. So the alliance group you saw, let me be more specific here with the name here. All right. These guys here, let me hide this video. As you can see the name right here. They call them Citizen Alliance. During the alien administration, that lady you saw, they were part of the pilot project to engage the community in Monrovia. You saw the guy carrying the road up. They were doing everything to clean the dike. You see, during the old stone days, People were not generating debt during the old stone days. People were eating organic food and will get decomposed. But as we branch into the industrialized world, and as the population started to increase, waste generation started taking place. And it was when people started to find solutions to reducing waste in their country. Liberia is 174 years old. We are still yet to figure out how to manage our solid waste. Our solid waste that come mainly from our homes and businesses in the country. We are not even going to what we describe as special waste yet. I don't think Liberia will get to special waste right now. Special waste, like biological waste, chemical waste, nuclear waste. Those are special wastes that we describe in the United States here. We didn't reach that far yet. Even though we are doing some things in our country that contain special waste, we ain't got special waste program in our country. You can forget it. So the European Union spent millions of dollars to help Liberia fight solid waste in the country. When Mayor Koji took office, whether he met these people who were already in the city trying to clean up, as you can see the small little trucks they're carrying around to collect trash, we didn't get to see that. Mayor Koji came and came strictly with something he called "We Are for Clean City." You see, my friend, you know why the people take your trash every day in this country? I mean, every week in this country? Flies take the flies when they lay egg, because the first thing that comes around trash is flies, right? Flies, the egg the fly laid, it takes 8 days to turn into a real fly. And the reason they pick up your trash every week is because they don't want that fly egg to fully develop. So if you look at it, they give you what? Every 7 days in America, they pick up your trash. And that they call trash day. For me here, my trash day is every Monday. That will hit my 7 days. From last Monday, it will hit my 7 days. I don't know what your day is, but the purpose behind that is to get rid of your trash within 7 days, because the 8th day, if the fly start to lay egg in your trash, you start getting more flies in your community. Jefferson Koji don't understand that, and he doesn't know that because he's not an expert in that area. And I'm not here to explain all the detail here, but for you guys listening here, that is one of the main reasons. Second reason here is the organic material that is put in the trash bag stay over time. When the sun gets hot, it can turn into combustible material, and for some reason, it can start to burn, especially during the summertime. Yes, especially during the summertime. So Jefferson Koji, okay, somebody said there is every Thursday. There you go. So you see, everyone on the show live in America, you have your trash day. One of the rule of thumb why your trash is picked up every week is because they don't want it to reach that 7 days. That is why when something happens like Mother Nature and stuff like that, except during the snow season, it's cool. But during the summertime, it's bad because the air will germinate very fast, and then you start having more flies in your community. So Jefferson Koji, he has a problem, but because he's very stubborn, he thinks he can solve things. He don't have what it takes. In 2007, when Ellen came to address the issue of solid waste, she brought land ministry together. Yes, land ministry. Why? Because solid waste is not something that you can get easily messed with. Solid waste call for so many things. A good solid waste plan must rely on consultants. Why? Consultant must work with people who are in the public works sector. Consultant must work with people who are in the health department. You see, the EPA of the United States is the Attorney General of the Environment. The city hall does not have 100% of control over solid waste. The EPA is the Attorney General for the environment. They manage the air, they manage the soil, they manage the groundwater, and they also now looking at greenhouse gases that stem from factory polluting the air with VOCs and other TOCs. So they come up with a rule of the game. They write the rule of the game. And every institution must develop their policy or their code to play by the rules. So when you see Jefferson Koji going around and trying to act like he is the one in charge of the trash, think about Jefferson Koji trying to read the rule of the game and want to be the player of the game. It does not work that way. So in 2017, when Ellen Johnson Sirleaf came to establish a solid waste audit program to focus on a solid waste management plan, there were certain ministries Ellen brought together. One, the champion was the EPA. Because the EPA, all right, because the EPA is the Attorney General for the environment, they read all the rules. Next was the Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health is to help citizens understand why trash need to be removed, why trash should be taken out at a specific given time. The ministry need to look at that. All right. Then you have the Ministry of Public Works. Public Works is supposed to go out there and determine where the dike should be put. Then you have the Ministry of Internal Affairs, because Liberia is a country that is not like the United States. Even in the United States here, we have the Indian reservation, where regulations are given to Indians, whether they are in North Dakota, for them to be able to have the interpreter to inform them about the rules. So in Liberia, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, through the different counties, they were put on that board. So the land ministry, that include what? The EPA, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Public Works, and the Ministry of Internal Affairs. 4 ministries. They work together. And what the people did, they did a waste stream analysis. They did a waste type analysis, the different type of waste. And that document was to be developed into a solid waste management plan to support every city across the country. Now, the role of the city mayor is to take whatever advice the EPA merely provide in terms of solid waste management and incorporate that into the municipal code of the city. The municipal code, for example, they will tell you if you have 2 or 3 family members in your home, you need to have 2 trash cans. Because the more the capacity, the more trash you will generate. So the city code will be coming from the regulation, because the EPA is the regulatory body of the environment. You see, when the national legislature, and here's another problem too. Here's another problem that fucking things up in the country there. All right. You cannot play a game without a rule. But there are people who are supposed to establish the rule, right? But if you don't have the people who establish the rule, how will the referee use the rule, and how will the player then play the game without violating the rules? In Liberia today, we don't have laws within our country. For example, air pollution. There is no law in Liberia to fight against air pollution. In America, yeah, when you be burning gas on the road, when car burning, the reason the fire people will come and put the fire off quick, and the reason they tell you don't burn anything in your backyard, because every state got what they call air pollution prevention. Because when you pollute the air, you affect the environment. So the state the United States and your state came out to develop what they call air pollution prevention. They don't want people to pollute the air. So when they make any air pollution, guess what's going to happen? you as a resident, under that air pollution law, you cannot burn anything in your backyard because you pollute the air, and those who have respiratory problem, that different contaminant in the air will cause an adverse effect on their health. Therefore, every individual, every household, every community, and every place of work, including government and private institutions, will put in place policy, because government will come up with a regulation, private companies, homes will come up with what? Their community rules, place of work will come up with policy regarding the prevention of air pollution. We don't have that in Liberia. So when the guy burning the dead behind a house or the guy burning the farm, there's no law in Liberia that will say do not carry on open burning. Nobody going to tell nobody on any platform in the Liberian community. That's what made the country fucked up. So when you owe and get respiratory problem, don't go to Liberia because it will affect you. Second thing we don't have, solid waste. There is something called the solid waste management. Solid waste law, it prevents groundwater contamination, soil contamination. We also need to have a solid waste prevention law in Liberia. Then the EPA will take that same solid waste now and call it solid waste regulations. Don't put that on the ground. Don't put that certain places. Then every city will take that law and turn it into a municipal code, because they can't use the law, so they'll turn it into a code. City ordinances XYZ, communities should not put that on the ground. So the city is using the EPA code that was created, the EPA regulation that was created by Congress as a law. So that law will come to the regulatory agency, and the agency will take the law and turn it into what? Into a regulation. Cheddar, you go to the market, you buy all your fresh food. You come out, you gotta cook a decent soup, right? And then when the soup done, you cook the rest, then you spread the rest, divide among the children, and all the children eat it happy. That's how it works. Jefferson Koji, they don't understand those things. That's why they fucking things up in that place. They will give them all the money they can get. They will do all the we are for clean city. They don't have the idea. We see them here all the time, and we just look at them and say, boy. And that's why that European Union, that guy got so mad, and he just went ballistic on them. They don't understand. So we don't have a solid waste. So a solid waste law. And remember, the Liberian EPA was established in 2003 under Taylor administration. That means everything that comes to environmental protection, we had no idea. That even means that how we manage our trash, we don't know it yet. So when it comes to different type of waste, commercial waste, industrial waste, residential waste, special waste, we don't have no idea on the thing. And that's why Jefferson Koji just understand that his department that manages the solid waste is a gigantic responsibility that he, Jefferson Koji, cannot handle. Because number one, the population is increasing, and there will be more generation of solid waste. One thing to reduce solid waste is to stop the source. You see, when you are bleeding from a cut, a real medical professional will say, stop the bleed. Because if you continue to bleed blood out, you will die. Because we don't have any law in regards to managing solid waste in our country, we don't know how to stop the bleed. And I call waste minimization. The first thing the mayor need to do is to work with the national legislature and the president and stop everything that coming from abroad. Stop it. Especially when they bring in plastic bag. Stop it. Because plastic material is very hard to decay, to get rotten. They stay in the soil for a very long time. You slow down on that. Any company, business in Liberia, we are going to do away with plastic material. Stop it. In the state of Delaware and other states, you go to the store this time and they not give you plastic bag. You know one of the reasons why they're doing that? the population increasing. The little land we got, Liberia, for a 3,000 square mile. If we start using all our land and start putting trash there in years to come, when our population reach to 30 million, we'll have no space for people to live because most of the places will be contaminated from solid waste disposal. So one of the ways that we can preserve our land is to make sure that those who want to do business with us, they should not create a problem that will impact our people, from environmental condition to public health issue. Cut down on plastic bag in the country. Rwanda did that. Rwanda, you don't see nobody bringing plastic bag to that country. Paper, fine. Paper come from the tree. It's quick to get dissolved. That's one of the things they're using today. So stop the import of plastic material. That one way you will be able to reduce the proliferation of solid waste. Number two, population expansion. Begin to engage the people and educate the people about the significance of maintaining a cleaner environment and use the city code. We don't have those things in our country. And that's why we continue to have the problem we have today. It is a very important thing to discuss, but again, folks, this is not disrespect. Many Liberians across our country back home and in the diaspora are not interested in the kind of topic. Either because they were never taught how to understand these things. And I don't fault them for that. But I do appreciate everyone who come here to watch these things. And I will say this, it will be very difficult for Carl and me to go visit Liberia with that kind of pollution over there. It will be very difficult. You know, I remember way back. I don't know how many of you guys remember, but a few of you guys will. The late Michael Jackson, when he went to Africa, he went to the Ivory Coast. From what we heard when we were in Liberia, he had something he called, he knows like this. And there was a photo taken of him when he visited the Ivory Coast, because the place was smelling so bad because the air was contaminated. And Michael Jackson came from a very cleaner environment, and he never wanted any toxic air to go into his system, so he decided to block his nose. I did not know that time because my level of understanding of things wasn't to that level at that time. But over the years that I have come to this country, like many of you guys, I got to understand why he was holding his nose. And that's one of the reasons why I'm even afraid to go to Liberia right now. Because everything is all politics. And the rest of the other thing is left at our own discretion. How we should present and manage ourselves. That's what I see, which is very bad for us. If you are above 65 years with some medical complication, I don't encourage you to go to Liberia, because you may die from air pollution. You may die from polluted groundwater. It's not healthy for your heart. It's not healthy for your organ. We are now using our institution in the country. The EPA is quiet. The Ministry of Health is quiet. All day you see Jefferson Koji from one person. You need a solid waste management plan. A plan that you can sustain. A plan that the people will understand what they need to do. A plan that will bring ministry together to work, to sustain the process. Since Mr. Koji started that, we have a clean city. When he cleaned the place today, after a few days, the place get dirty. Why you think so? Because the input of the input of refused material are being generated every maybe hour, whether it's at a port, whether it's behind a Liberian main store, whether it's in the community. These things have a huge burden on the country and the city. So with the European Union saying pumping all that money in, they figure out that the people got no plan. They wouldn't guessing. Today they clean here, tomorrow they clean over there. And they can't see no clear plan that will give them the direction to understand where this solid waste is going. But all they see every day, generation of death. And that's why the man came out and said the way he said it. Let me tell you what happened here, all right? The European Union representative that made that comment, he's not the first. Maybe you didn't catch that. When the US ambassador talked about power theft, that the government need to take more steps and prosecute those who are engaged in power theft, Because if they don't do it, he don't believe they will get money from the taxpayer in America. Those who are stealing current, including government officials, should be punished. That was the first disgrace that was given to our country by our foreign partners. And that prompted the European guy to come out to and make a comment. Who next to come after us again? Because the people know we are vulnerable, right? So guys, let me stop here now. It's almost, I should have stopped at 10. I went 47 minutes, which is a huge, huge time that I just wasted. But let me stop here. The next time we meet, we'll look at Namdi Kanga. For those of you that need a document, I saw LRB guy you said he needed a document. I will send you that review copy so you can take a look at it. Again, let me appreciate the ANC guys. And my action nowadays is not limited just to ANC. If, for example, if anyone out there want to engage me on the conversation of their issue, I'm ready to bring it out here. Because I want you guys to understand who is transparent and who is not transparent. The ANC is not a perfect organization. They are struggling to get things right. But the fact that they open it up to phone calls and conversation, I highly appreciate that. Because in order to understand something, you must ask questions. And in order to get answer, you must be able to talk to people. The CDC is not good at that. Yeah, they are not good at that. They are like that animal we call the ants bear. They fool themselves in. They are not open. They are more secretive than any other thing that I can imagine. And that's why we harm them all the time. I'm looking forward to seeing them opening up, discussing issue. Coming here, let us have the conversation. Because we must educate our people. I listened to the finance minister today. What he said is sad. I would say that it's sad. I see that a cross function within the finance minister position. He is the finance minister. When he goes on any platform, it is not a business to explain what the Ministry of Culture and Tourism is supposed to be explaining. The Minister of Cultural Affairs and Tourism in Liberia should be the one, because the ministry say what? Ministry of Culture and Tourism. The Ministry of Culture and Tourism should have been over there saying, look, we went to the United States, we engaged different media institutions. We want to invite many African American here and other national on a program that we're trying to organize here. At the end of the year, we will do everything we can to create the awareness on Liberia. If the finance minister ever come to say anything, he should speak about how much money he is giving for that project or for that program, but not to be the lecturer or say, oh, we bring it there, we bring it there. That's cross function. That is cross function. That is cross function. It will not happen in America here. It will not happen here. It will not happen here. From every private sector, when I work today, we got director, we got press, we got director for this, we got director for that. Yeah, nothing free. Exactly. Yeah, nothing free. We got director for this, we got director for that. So to see the finance minister coming and just make it, and that press conference, with all due respect, Minister Toy, that press conference or that press briefing was nothing but a complete comical show today. My time. I was very surprised to hear people cheering on. I mean, think about a major press conference in the United States and you got the press cheering on. That was very embarrassing. That was very embarrassing. There are times that we must put the cap on and be very serious. And be very serious. You can't just get up and somebody just come and start to say one or two things and the next thing you go to the media clapping. How can we say that the media is independent? But that was not a better presentation today. You all need to do better than that. Maybe just the Liberia stand-up, because in Liberia got their own way of doing things. I think that Liberia stand-up. But that was very poor. That was very, very poor. But we'll talk about that more. I don't think let me see what the brother say here. All right. I don't think they limit the finance minister Yeah, I mean, but he should know his limit. Or Melvin, he should know his limit. He should know his limit. We cannot have people cross functioning things. He can't be the one to run the show. He cannot be the one to run the show. Something red in here. All right. I was just looking for it here. Something red in here. Let me read it for you guys quickly here. Something right here. All right. Function of the Ministry of Finance. Function of the Ministry of Finance. Let me see where I can find that thing here. All right. So you can get to know when we talk about cross function, that's exactly what's going on over there. All right. Function of the Ministry of Finance. I'm going to read it for you guys quickly here. All right. The Ministry of Finance. Let me tell you their function. So he crossing the boundary. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. Unless the partisan, when they see this thing, it really don't bother them because they are so party connected, so they don't really care about this thing. All right. Let's see here. Ministry of Finance. Yeah, right here. Ministry of Finance. Let's see here. Everywhere. Okay. Ministry of Finance, page 48. Ministry of Finance, page 48. Right here. All right. Page 48. Ministry of Finance. All right. Ministry of Finance. The primary function, let me read that for you guys. The primary function of the Ministry of Finance is the fiscal operation of government. This entails revenue collection, budget expenditure, debt management. The chief executive officer is the Ministry of Finance. So why is he going on the platform? Oh, we met with Lacey Grant, we did this, we did that. You can't run government like that. You can't run government like that. You can't run government like that. The finance minister should focus on his own ministry. Yes. That just go to show that people are cross-functioning each other in that place. And that's why nothing makes sense. Jefferson Koji feel that because he said he got control over the solid waste when he got no understanding of how solid waste impact the environment and what can be done to minimize the impact that solid waste have on the environment. He doesn't understand that. So too many cross function. So I got no reason to go wild today to go get any briefing. He's my friend, but I will not give him that free pass. It's wrong. You just heard him. What I just read here. Even if you combine the Ministry of Planning Development look at the economic of the country. Twice should be coming out on that platform to tell you what the government is doing to expand the economic equity across the country. The information minister should have been the one coming up with that statement. But again, I don't want to get too much involved. Yes. Because I got family there in Liberia. I have been seriously warned to calm things down. So I don't want to be too much involved with critiquing the government. And that's why I try to stay in the middle. Because in America here, you can criticize things. You got people here who will protect you and go first, and other people from our civil society will protect you. You can critique them. But in Liberia, when you go critique somebody, your family will be at risk. And I don't want to put my family people at risk. So I just said what I wanted to say from my heart, that everybody need to stay in their own lane. And I don't want to say the government not doing the right thing, but the government need to stay. There's something we call leadership standard of work. What is each minister? What is each director? And everyone that work in each agency and ministry, what is their standard of operation? What do they do when they go to work? For you, your standard of responsibility in your home, one is to keep that lights on. Two is to protect your children. Three, come from the most important one, is to always maintain a job and go to work. That is your standard of responsibility as a parent. Now, as a government, what do you do? What do you do? All right. Randy, don't worry. We are not going back there. But Aaron, you say you're going radio station now that you just Aaron Talbot. I thought you said you were carrying radio station back there. The you you one day you come with a different story, another day you come with another story. Yeah, but that's why it is. All right, guys. So tomorrow, I don't know. Tomorrow we will be here again to see what else we can talk about here. And but I want to appreciate you guys. When we come back here again, we'll showcase ourselves. We'll be discussing this other interview here. All right. We'll be looking at Nomdi Kanga here. All right. Yes, we'll be looking at her tomorrow. We'll be analyzing what she said. You know, and we'll be analyzing this one here tomorrow. We're not letting it play all together here. All right. We'll be analyzing her. So we'll be analyzing her tomorrow on the show. All right. So let me say a big thank you to every one of you guys, and for taking all your time to come and listen to me here today. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Who have the money in Liberia? Let me see what Tower is. Tower already. Let me see. Tower said who have the money in Liberia. I don't know what he's talking about here. All right. Let's see. He said. He said. Where Randy Liberia is a joke. Tower, you gotta go back there. You gotta go back there. I'm gonna do that. Let me tell you now. You gotta go back. Yeah. So guys, thank you so much. It's been a long week. And I want to bless God for you guys for taking all your time to come and join me here. Thank you for taking out your time to come and join me here. I appreciate you guys for everything. Let us continue to push our agenda here, and that is to try to be in the middle of things, so that way we cannot be caught in the spiral lies of things or deception, because it's out there. If you're not mindful, you can get trapped in it. So let me say a big thank you to everyone who turned out today. Our classroom has come to an end. Our Tiwata discussion for this Friday has come to an end. Thank you guys so much. Hit the like button. I think today we were live on YouTube, but I have to go and verify it because I can see here that it was running on YouTube today. So we'll go and check it out and then see where we were on YouTube. All right. Thank you guys so much. And God bless you guys. Have yourself a pleasant evening. If you're starting your day, have yourself a good day. This is Jay Rainey, and I am out of here. Bye to everyone.